Welcome back to Easy English Talk Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Easy English Talk Podcast. I am Ryan, and it is wonderful to have you here with us today. Hey, Priya, how has your day been going so far?
Hi, Ryan. My day has been really good. Thank you for asking. I have been thinking about today's topic quite a bit, actually. How about you? How has your morning been treating you?
It has been great, thanks. I have been preparing for this conversation, and I am genuinely excited to dive into it with you. So before we begin, I want to ask our wonderful listeners, where are you watching or listening from right now?
Yes, we would absolutely love to know. Are you at home? Maybe on a walk? Commuting to work? Or relaxing somewhere? Please let us know in the comments below. We read every single one.
And also, we really want to hear from you about something important. Is this podcast helping you improve your English? Is it helping you grow as a person and think about life in new and meaningful ways?
Your feedback truly matters to us and helps us create better content for you. So please share your thoughts, your experiences, and your stories with us in the comments.
Absolutely. Your support and your engagement inspire us to keep creating these conversations every single week. So thank you for being here and for being part of this growing community. Today, we are discussing why feeling stuck can be the best thing for you.
And I know that might sound quite strange at first, right? When you feel stuck, it feels absolutely terrible, like nothing is moving forward in your life. But we are going to show you a completely different perspective on this experience.
Exactly. If you clicked on this episode, you are probably feeling stuck in some area of your life right now. Maybe it's your career, your relationships, your personal growth, or even your learning journey with English. And by the end of this conversation, you will understand why this feeling is not actually a problem to escape from, but rather a powerful signal that something important is happening inside you.
Yes, and we will give you practical, actionable ways to use this stuck feeling as fuel for real transformation and growth. This is not just about feeling better temporarily. This is about understanding what being stuck really means at a deeper level and how to move through it with genuine purpose and clarity.
Perfect. So let us start by exploring what it actually means to feel stuck in the first place. Priya, when people say they feel stuck, what is really happening to them psychologically and emotionally?
That is such a great question to start with. Feeling stuck is that particular sensation where you know deep down that you want something different in your life, but you genuinely don't know how to get there. You feel trapped between where you currently are and where you desperately want to be. It's like standing at a crossroads with no clear signs pointing you in the right direction.
And I think that uncertainty, that lack of clarity, is what makes the experience so deeply uncomfortable for people. You are not moving backward in your life, but you are also not moving forward either. You're just suspended in this strange in-between space, and that feels really frustrating and sometimes even scary.
Exactly. And what makes this feeling even worse is that our modern culture constantly tells us we should always be making progress, always achieving something new, always moving, always achieving, always growing visibly. So when you feel stuck, you also start to feel like you're somehow failing at life or not measuring up to everyone else.
Right, because when you look around, everyone else seems to be moving forward with their lives. They're getting promotions at work, starting new businesses, learning impressive new skills, traveling to exciting places. And meanwhile, you're just stuck in the same place, doing the same things every day, feeling the same frustrated way.
Yes, and that constant comparison to others makes the stuck feeling even heavier and more painful to carry. You start thinking these negative thoughts like, what's wrong with me? Why can everyone else seem to figure this out except me? Am I just not capable enough?
So the stuck feeling comes bundled with a lot of shame and harsh self-judgment, does it not? It's not just the practical problem of not knowing what specific steps to take next. It's also the heavy emotional weight of feeling like something is fundamentally wrong with you as a person.
Exactly. And this is precisely where most people make their first big mistake in handling the situation. They desperately try to escape the stuck feeling as quickly as possible, by any means necessary. They make rushed decisions, they force themselves to take action, literally any action at all, just to feel like they are moving again and not standing still.
But that strategy often makes things worse in the long run, does it not? Because people end up making important choices that are not truly aligned with what they really want deep down. They just want to stop feeling stuck and uncomfortable, so they impulsively jump into something new without really thinking it through carefully.
Yes, absolutely. And then what happens? They end up in a completely new situation that still doesn't feel right or fulfilling to them. And guess what feeling shows up again? they feel stuck again, just in a different place with different circumstances.
So the cycle just continues repeating itself endlessly. They keep frantically trying to escape the stuck feeling instead of pausing to understand what it might actually be trying to communicate to them.
Exactly. And this brings us to the absolute key insight that changes everything. Feeling stuck is not fundamentally a problem that needs to be solved or fixed immediately. It's actually a message that needs to be listened to carefully. It's your inner self, your deeper wisdom saying very clearly, pause right now. Something significant needs to change in your life, and we need to figure out together what that actually is.
I absolutely love that powerful reframe of the situation. So instead of automatically seeing stuck as something bad and negative, we can actually see it as a meaningful signal that we are ready for something new and different.
Our current life situation no longer fits who we are becoming as people. Yes, and that is precisely why feeling stuck can actually turn out to be the best thing that ever happened to you. It's a clear sign that you are outgrowing your current situation, like a plant that has outgrown its pot. You are ready for the next level of growth and development, but you simply haven't figured out yet what that next level looks like in practical terms.
So it is very much like a caterpillar inside a cocoon, is it not? The caterpillar is stuck. It cannot move freely. Everything around it feels dark and confusing and restrictive. But that stuck phase inside the cocoon is absolutely necessary for the complete transformation into a beautiful butterfly.
That is such a perfect metaphor for what we are talking about. The cocoon is not a prison that is trapping the caterpillar. It's actually a transformation chamber where profound change happens. And the stuck feeling you experience in your own life is essentially your personal cocoon moment, your transformation time.
So let us explore more deeply why people actually get stuck in the first place. What are the most common underlying reasons someone ends up experiencing this particular stuck feeling?
One of the absolute biggest reasons is lack of clarity about what you truly want. You know something needs to change, you can feel it clearly, but you genuinely don't know what exactly. You have this vague, uncomfortable sensation of dissatisfaction with your current situation, but you cannot name exactly what is wrong or what you would want instead.
So it's somewhat like knowing you are hungry, but not knowing what specific food you want to eat. You stand there in front of the refrigerator feeling increasingly frustrated because nothing looks appealing or quite right, but you cannot identify what would actually satisfy your hunger and make you feel good.
Exactly that feeling. And without genuine clarity about what you actually want in your life, you simply cannot take clear, decisive action toward anything. So you just stand there mentally and emotionally, completely paralyzed by too many vague options, or by not truly understanding your own deepest desires and values.
What is another major reason people commonly get stuck?
Fear is honestly a huge one, perhaps the biggest obstacle of all. Even when you do know clearly what you want, the fear of change, the fear of potential failure, the fear of other people's judgment, all of these powerful fears can absolutely freeze you in place. You would genuinely rather stay in familiar discomfort that you know than risk facing unknown discomfort that might be worse.
Right, because at least your current situation feels predictable and somewhat controllable. You know exactly what to expect every single day. But if you make a significant change in your life, literally anything could happen afterward. And that level of uncertainty feels genuinely dangerous to your survival-oriented brain.
Yes, our human brains are actually wired through evolution to prefer known problems over unknown solutions every single time. So even if you are genuinely unhappy in your current circumstances, your primitive brain insists, stay right here where you are, this situation is safe and familiar, absolutely do not risk making any changes.
And that fundamental brain wiring is exactly why so many people stay for years in jobs they genuinely hate, in relationships that constantly drain their energy, or stuck in harmful habits that damage their health. The devil they know feels safer and more manageable than the devil they do not know yet.
Exactly. And a third major reason people get stuck is internal conflicting values, pulling them in opposite directions. You want two important things that seem completely incompatible with each other. Maybe you deeply want both freedom and security, or perhaps you want exciting adventure and comfortable stability. These internal value conflicts create what I call internal gridlock in your decision-making.
So one part of you pulls strongly in one direction, another equally strong part pulls in the completely opposite direction, and you end up going absolutely nowhere as a result. You are stuck because you are essentially fighting against yourself internally.
Yes, and until you somehow resolve that deep internal conflict, until you figure out which value is most important to you right now, or discover how to honor both competing values in some new creative way, you will remain stuck in that same place.
So those are three major underlying causes of feeling stuck: lack of clarity about what you genuinely want,
paralyzing fear of change and uncertainty, and conflicting internal values. And all three of these are actually valuable opportunities for significant personal growth if you approach them with the right mindset.
Exactly right. And this is where the real magic and transformation can happen. When you finally stop desperately trying to escape being stuck and instead start asking curious questions like, what is this uncomfortable experience trying to teach me? Everything begins to shift in powerful ways.
So let us talk in detail about that important shift in perspective. How exactly do you transform the stuck feeling from something purely negative and painful into something genuinely useful and productive for your growth?
The very first step is radical acceptance of where you are. Stop fighting against the stuck feeling with all your energy. Stop harshly judging yourself for being in this place. Just honestly acknowledge, I feel stuck right now in my life, and that is completely okay and normal. This is simply part of my personal journey and growth process.
So you give yourself full permission to be in this uncomfortable space without shame or self-criticism. You are not broken or defective. You are not failing at life. You are just in a necessary transition phase. And transition is absolutely required for any meaningful growth to occur.
Exactly. And that simple acceptance immediately reduces so much of the suffering and pain you experience. Because honestly, most of the pain of feeling stuck comes not from the stuckness itself, but from desperately resisting it and fighting against it.
Right. It is very much like quicksand in that way. The more you panic and struggle violently against it, the deeper you sink into it. But if you can somehow relax and accept where you currently are, you can actually figure out how to move forward much more intelligently and effectively.
Yes, perfect analogy. And once you genuinely accept that you are stuck without judgment, the second crucial step is to get deeply curious about the experience. Start asking yourself powerful questions. Why exactly do I feel stuck? What specific aspects are not working anymore? What do I really want deep down? What am I genuinely afraid of?
So you transform the stuck feeling into a fascinating investigation and exploration. You become like a detective, carefully trying to understand what this particular feeling is revealing about your life, your core values, your true desires, your hidden fears.
Exactly. And this attitude of genuine curiosity is so much more productive and helpful than harsh judgment of yourself. Judgment keeps you trapped and stuck. Curiosity opens new doors and possibilities.
Can you give some specific examples of what these curious questions might actually sound like in practice?
Sure, absolutely. Instead of thinking in that judgmental way, why am I so stuck? I really hate this about myself. You might ask much more useful questions like, what part of my current life no longer aligns with who I am becoming as a person? Or, what exactly am I afraid will happen if I make a significant change?
Those questions genuinely invite real, thoughtful answers instead of just creating more frustration and self-criticism. They help you actually understand the stuck feeling at a deeper level, instead of just hating it and wishing it would disappear.
Yes, and another incredibly powerful question is, what would I do right now if I knew I absolutely could not fail? This specific question helps you separate your true, authentic desires from your limiting fears.
Because so often what you genuinely want is actually quite clear deep down, but fear makes it look completely impossible or unrealistic. So you feel stuck when really you are just scared of taking that first step.
Exactly right. And once you clearly identify the specific fear, you can actually work with it constructively. You can ask yourself, is this fear based on actual reality or just assumptions? Have I ever successfully handled something difficult before? What is the worst that could realistically happen?
So you are methodically dismantling the fear piece by piece instead of letting it control your entire life. That approach is genuinely powerful.
It really is. And the third important step after acceptance and curiosity is to take small experimental actions. You absolutely do not need to have the entire plan perfectly figured out before you start. You just need to try one small thing and carefully observe what you learn from that experience.
So instead of waiting passively for perfect clarity before you dare to move, you actively move forward in order to gain that clarity. Action itself creates valuable information and insight.
Exactly. When you feel stuck, you naturally think you need to know the exact destination before you can take the very first step. But actually, in reality, you discover the destination gradually by taking steps and seeing where they lead you.
Can you give a concrete example of what a small experimental action might look like in real life?
Sure. Let's say you feel genuinely stuck in your current career, but you don't know what you want to do instead. A small, low-risk experiment might be simply talking to someone who works in a field that interests you, or taking an online course in something you are curious about, or volunteering for a project that uses completely different skills than your current job.
So you are not committing yourself to a whole dramatic new career immediately. You are just exploring possibilities carefully. You are gathering valuable information about what energizes and excites you and what does not.
Exactly. And each small experiment gives you real feedback and data. You learn, oh, that was genuinely interesting. I want to explore more of that.
Or that was definitely not for me. Good to know. What else could I try next?
So you are building clarity through actual experience instead of just trying to think your way to clarity in your head. That is so much more effective and reliable.
It absolutely is, because you simply cannot think your way out of being stuck. You have to act your way out through experience. But the actions can be small, relatively low risk, and experimental in nature. You are not making permanent, irreversible decisions. You are just exploring various possibilities.
I love that approach because it takes so much pressure off. You don't need to have all the answers figured out perfectly. You just need to be willing to try different things and learn from each experience.
Exactly. And here's what is truly beautiful about this process. As you consistently take these small actions, the stuck feeling often starts to dissolve quite naturally. Not because you have solved everything and found all the answers, but simply because you are moving again. You are an active participant in your own life instead of a passive victim of circumstances.
So the movement itself is healing and empowering, even before you actually reach any particular destination. Just the simple act of exploring, trying new things, learning from experience, it breaks the paralysis of being stuck.
Yes, and this brings us to another really important insight. Being stuck often happens primarily because you are trying to figure absolutely everything out just in your head. But real clarity and wisdom come from actually engaging with the world, not just from endless thinking.
Right, because your brain will give you literally endless what-if scenarios and worst-case possibilities. But when you actually try something in reality, you get real, concrete data about what works and what does not.
Exactly. And real data from experience is so much more useful than imagined fears. You stop living in hypothetical problems and start dealing with actual reality.
So let us talk about the genuine gifts that come from being stuck. Because you said at the beginning that this experience can be the best thing for you. What are the actual concrete benefits?
The first major gift is deep self-knowledge. When you feel stuck and you do the inner work of understanding why, you learn so much valuable information about yourself, your core values, your hidden fears, your true desires, your unconscious patterns. This knowledge is incredibly valuable for the rest of your entire life.
So you are not just solving the immediate problem of being stuck, you are gaining lasting wisdom about who you truly are and how you operate. That serves you forever in everything you do.
Exactly. And the second gift is that being stuck forces you to slow down and reflect deeply. In our busy, fast-paced modern world, we rarely take time to ask ourselves, is this the life I actually want? Am I going in the right direction?
Right, we just keep running on autopilot mode, doing what we have always done. But being stuck stops you in your tracks. It says clearly, wait, pause, look around carefully. Is this really where you want to be?
Yes. And that forced pause is actually precious and valuable. It gives you a chance to course correct before you spend years or even decades going in the wrong direction.
So being stuck early in a wrong path is actually a gift that saves you from much bigger regrets later. Better to feel stuck now and make a change than to wake up at 60 years old and realize you lived someone else's life.
Exactly. And that third gift is resilience and inner strength. When you work through being stuck, when you face the discomfort and uncertainty and come out the other side, you become genuinely stronger. You prove to yourself that you can handle difficult transitions.
So the next time you feel stuck, it is not quite as scary anymore. You have solid evidence that you can navigate this. You have done it before successfully.
Yes, and that confidence is absolutely priceless. You stop seeing being stuck as a catastrophe and start seeing it as a natural part of growth. Just a temporary phase you move through on your way to something better.
Let us talk about what not to do when you feel stuck. What are the common mistakes people make that keep them stuck even longer?
The biggest mistake is numbing yourself, using distractions, addictions, excessive entertainment, anything to avoid feeling the discomfort of being stuck. This just prolongs the stuck phase because you never deal with the actual issue.
So instead of listening to what the stuck feeling is telling you, you just drown it out with noise. And then you wake up months or years later, still stuck, just more numb to it.
Exactly. And another mistake is comparing yourself to others, looking at people who seem to have it figured out and feeling even worse about yourself. This just adds shame to an already difficult experience.
Right, because you are seeing their outsides and comparing it to your insides. You see their results, but not their struggles, their stuck phases, their uncertainties and doubts.
Yes, everyone goes through stuck phases, even the most successful people, but we usually only see the highlight reel, not the messy middle parts.
So comparison is a trap that makes you feel worse without providing any useful information. It is better to focus on your own unique journey and trust your own timing.
Exactly. And another mistake is rushing to fix it.
trying to force a quick solution before you really understand the deeper problem. This leads to surface-level changes that do not address the real underlying issue.
So you might change jobs quickly, but if you have not figured out what was really wrong with the old job or what you actually want, you just end up in a new job with the same feelings of dissatisfaction.
Exactly. You moved locations, but you brought yourself with you. The external circumstances changed, but the internal pattern did not change at all, so you get stuck again.
So the real work is internal first, understanding yourself, your patterns, your needs. Then the external changes flow naturally from that understanding and actually create lasting transformation.
Yes, and this is why feeling stuck can be such a profound gift. It forces you to do that important internal work. It says clearly, you cannot keep running on autopilot anymore. You need to wake up and pay attention.
Let us talk about the role of patience in this process, because I imagine people desperately want to get unstuck quickly. How do you balance the need for action with the need for patience?
That is such an important question. You need patience with the process while also taking consistent small actions. It is not one or the other. It is genuinely both together.
So you are patient with yourself. You do not judge yourself harshly for being stuck. You trust that this is a necessary phase. But you also stay actively engaged. You keep exploring, asking questions, trying small experiments.
Exactly. Patience does not mean being passive at all. It means trusting the timing while still participating actively in your own transformation process.
And I imagine the timeline is different for everyone. Some people move through stuck phases relatively quickly. Others need more time. There is no universally right speed.
No, there is not. And trying to force yourself to move faster than you are ready often backfires. You make impulsive decisions, or you create more anxiety, or you miss important insights that needed more time to develop.
So you trust your own unique pace while staying committed to the process. You are gentle with yourself, but not complacent or passive.
Exactly. And here's something that helps tremendously. Focus on the journey, not just the destination. If you are only focused on getting unstuck, every day you are still stuck feels like failure.
But if you see value in the journey itself, in the self-discovery, the learning, the growth that happens while you are stuck, then even the stuck phase has real meaning and purpose.
Yes, and that perspective makes the experience so much more bearable. You aren't wasting time. You are learning, growing, preparing yourself for the next chapter.
So the stuck phase is not a detour from your life. It is an essential part of your life. It is where deep transformation happens.
Exactly. And when you finally do get unstuck, when you finally move into the next chapter, you bring all that wisdom and self-knowledge with you. You are not the same person who entered the stuck phase. You are stronger, clearer, more aligned.
So the stuck phase fundamentally changes you, and that change is what allows you to create a genuinely different future. You needed to become a different person before you could build a different life.
Yes, that is beautiful and true. And this is why rushing through it or trying to skip it simply does not work. The stuck phase is doing important work on you, preparing you, reshaping you.
Let us talk about faith and trust. Because when you are stuck, you often cannot see where you are going. How do you maintain faith that things will work out?
You build faith through evidence from your own life. Look at your past honestly. Have you been through difficult times before? Did you find a way through? That history proves that you are capable of navigating uncertainty.
So you remind yourself, I have felt stuck before and I got unstuck. I have faced hard things and I survived them. I have wisdom and resilience that I can draw on now.
Exactly. And you can also have faith in the process itself. Growth is messy. Transformation is uncomfortable. Cocoons feel dark and confining, but they lead to wings. That's just how the process works.
So you trust that the discomfort is productive, not pointless. Something valuable is happening, even when you can't see it clearly yet.
Yes, and you can find faith in other people's stories too. Read about people who went through stuck phases and came out transformed. Let their journeys remind you that this is absolutely possible for you too.
So you are not alone in this experience. Millions of people have felt stuck, worked through it, and emerged into new, better chapters of life. You are part of that same universal process.
Exactly. And sometimes faith is not about knowing everything will be okay. It's just about being willing to keep walking even when the path is unclear. One step at a time, trusting that the next step will be revealed when you need it.
That is beautiful. So you do not need to see the whole staircase. You just need to take the next step, and then the next. And gradually, you move forward.
Yes, and that is genuinely how you get unstuck. Not through one big dramatic change, but through many small steps.
each one building on the last, each one teaching you something, each one moving you closer to clarity and alignment.
So, to wrap up our conversation, let us summarize the key insights we have covered. Being stuck is not a problem to escape from. It is a signal that you are ready for growth and change.
Yes, and instead of fighting it, you accept it, get curious about it, and use it as an opportunity for deep self-discovery and understanding.
You take small experimental actions to gain clarity, while also creating space for stillness and reflection. You balance doing with being.
And you practice patience with yourself, trusting that this phase is necessary and valuable, even when it feels uncomfortable and frustrating.
You avoid numbing, comparing yourself to others, or rushing into quick fixes. Instead, you stay present with the experience and let it teach you what you need to learn.
And you remember that everyone goes through stuck phases. This is a normal, natural part of being human and growing. You are not broken or failing. You are transforming.
So if you are feeling stuck right now, know that this could actually be the beginning of your best chapter yet. The cocoon always comes before the wings.
Trust the process, stay curious, take small steps, and be gentle with yourself. The clarity will come. The path will reveal itself. You will get unstuck, and you will be wiser and stronger for having gone through this.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for listening to this episode. We hope this conversation helped you see your stuck feeling in a completely new light and gave you practical tools to work with it constructively.
Yes, thank you for being here with us and for trusting us with your time. We know how valuable that is, and we do not take it for granted.
And if this episode resonated with you, we have many other meaningful conversations on Easy English Talk podcast that can support your journey. Topics about personal growth, building confidence, and navigating life transitions.
We explore so many meaningful topics that help you understand yourself better and live with more clarity and purpose. So please check out our other episodes and find the conversations that speak to your current season of life.
We are here to support you every step of the way. Thank you again for listening. And remember, feeling stuck is not the end of your story. It is often the beginning of something beautiful.
Take care, everyone. Be patient with yourself, stay curious, and trust that you are exactly where you need to be right now.
We believe in you. See you next time on Easy English Talk podcast.